Okay, I'm going to continue. Press that magic button that says I'm willing to be recorded. Congratulations, everyone. Welcome. Can I get a roll call after I call to order this September 23rd meeting of the Santa Margarita Groundwater Agency?
And we are at 5:32 p.m.
Okay, I'll pick it up.
Okay, so we'll go Director Engfer.
Here.
Director Koenig.
Here.
McPherson.
Thank you. Have a good night. Yep, you too.
We have Director McPherson.
Director McPherson is participating in the PG&E community meeting tonight.
Oh, okay, so no Bruce McPherson today. Director Cassidy.
Here.
Koopman. I do not see Director Koopman yet, but I'll circle back to him. I will skip that for now. Director Pollock.
Present.
Dillis.
He's out of town.
Okay. Director Mayhood.
Here.
Smalley.
Here.
Director Stiles, I know is absent. And we have Chair Perry.
I am here.
Okay, we're gonna go to the alternates. Director Baskin. Director Brown.
Here.
So Director Brown, you're today as a voting member on behalf of Director McPherson.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Director Hutchison.
Here. Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you. And we will give Director Koopman maybe a little bit of time to join, but if he does not, then Director Hutchison, you're going to be the voting member on behalf of private well owners.
Okay.
Director Hayes. Director Lind. I don't see Director Lind at this point yet. Director Henry.
Here.
Director Henry is as a non-voting alternate today. And Director Eckwall.
Here.
Thank you. Director Eckwall is a voting member replacing Director Stiles. So let me do a quick look. We were, Director Koopman was the one that I still do not see on either list. So for now, Director Hutchison, you're going to be the voting member, and I will let the board know when we make the switch if Director Koopman was to join. So, but we do have a quorum.
Okay, thank you. All right, are there any additions or deletions to the agenda?
There is none from staff.
Hearing none from the board. Any oral communications for matters not on the agenda? Opportunity for anyone who's listening or watching to speak for a few minutes on an item that we're not going to talk about tonight, but we might be interested in. Or might not. I see a hand. Is that Rosemary? Do you mean to raise your hand? Okay. All right. All right, not hearing any phones or anything?
I don't see anybody from the public. No hands up.
All right. Can we have the consent agenda, which is the approval of the minutes of the July 22nd Board of Directors meeting?
I do have a small typo that I noticed after the packet went out, and it is in item 3.2. Okay. We have Director Koenig as being present and voting and saying aye, but he was not attending that meeting. So it should be replaced with J.M. Brown.
Okay. Okay, anything else? Nothing from the public? No.
Let me quickly look at that list. No hands from public, no hands from the group here.
Okay, do I have a motion?
Langford, I'll move the minutes as amended.
Okay.
Was that Ankfor?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Cassidy, second.
Eden Cassidy is the second.
I got it. And I'm
Okay.
going to do a roll call. Koenig? Director Koenig?
Aye.
Director Pollock?
Aye.
Director Mayhood?
Aye.
Smalley?
Aye.
Perry?
Aye.
Eckwall?
Aye.
Let me just make sure that we don't have any new additions here. So then we go with Director Hutchison
Aye.
and Director Brown.
Aye.
Director Cassidy
Aye.
and Ankfor.
Aye.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We have 10 ayes and 1 absent.
Okay. All right. We have in the general, we have 3.1, which is the GSP implementation cost estimate for fiscal year 22 through 26.
So I guess I will just do a brief introduction to this. You have seen this table or most of it before the board has. So what we did, the staff worked with the chair and vice chair, Chris Perry and Gail Mayhood, trying to kind of really see what was missing that last time at the last board meeting, some of the board members kind of felt uneasy about this budget. So one thing that came apparent was that the staff, we had done a lot of work that was not visible, and providing that maybe the logic and the reasoning, how those numbers came up to be would be helpful for the whole board and public to see. They are still very much high level cost estimates. It is not something that the board will commit to at this phase. That is going to be later every year as you go through and approve the annual budget. Those numbers will be further scrutinized and hopefully more exact figures can be provided. But just something that we felt is important. It is not required by the GSP, but I think on the staff level, what we think would be, again, good for transparency is to include it in the appendix of the GSP of the plan itself. I think that's all. I'll pause here, and if there's any questions about specific items or the format in general, what was presented.
If anyone has anything? Hands, Gail, is there a hand up?
Yes. Since I was one of the people that was concerned about this table as it was presented in the draft as a potential budget, I do want to thank the staff for making this greater elaboration of their thinking behind it. I think it's more clear now who's been doing what things are explicitly paid for going forward by different groups, what the assumptions are about what things will be costs will be absorbed by existing staff. And so I feel better about these being cost estimates. I also feel better just simply from the title, and that we're now calling it a cost estimate instead of in the first round a budget, where it's sort of, when you use the word budget, it sort of implies that we're committing to this. And in my view, at this point, we're passing on the GSP, the details of what we'll be budgeting for the fiscal year 2022 will be discussed next year. And so I'm satisfied now that this is instead being produced as an estimate of costs. And I think it's more clear than what we had before. So I thank the staff for doing that.
Okay, thank you, Gail. Anybody else? Okay, I'm going to say, anyone from the public have anything to say about what appeared in the packet, the board packet, as a cost estimate?
I do not see hands up. So just to remind, maybe we have some latecomers on the public side. If you are calling in via phone, please use *9. Or if you are on Zoom, please use the raise hand function. And I do not see any hands up. Okay, we do have now panelist Mark Smalley. We have a hand up.
Yes. Excuse me for the late question on this, but I noted that the county is reimbursed for some of their costs for, I believe it's the monitoring well sampling that's done. But on the aspect of the stream flow monitoring, which I believe San Lorenzo Valley Water District covers the majority of the cost on, there's no recompense for that aspect. Why the difference between these two?
Sierra is going to answer that question because she's so smart.
Thank you, Chris. So the monitoring work that was done by the county was specific to informing the groundwater sustainability plan development. It wasn't work that we would have been doing otherwise. Our routine groundwater monitoring that we do throughout the county is not included in this cost estimate. That's just staff time that we have staff members who go out twice a year and do groundwater elevation monitoring. We don't actually have any locations in this in the boundary for that process now. So everything that was reimbursed was work that went towards the GSP, and the money that the county spent was basically money that we contributed towards the information gathering to develop the GSP that we had just budgeted that we would contribute rather than bill the agency for. I suppose Rick could speak a little bit more to the work that you did on stream flow monitoring, but my understanding is that that was more in relation to your operations than the development of the groundwater sustainability plan.
Okay, I can follow up with Rick on that question.
I'm more than happy to.
Okay.
Thank you, Mark. Is there anybody else? Okay, hearing none. Do I have a motion?
We actually do not need a board action. This was only receive information, so we can move to the next item.
Okay, moving. All right, so this is a public hearing portion. This is our draft groundwater sustainability plan. We're going to open the public hearing and we're going to receive public testimony, and then we're going to see what we got. So at this point, I'm going to open the hearing to anyone from the public that would like to speak. Please raise your hand or use the *9 function, is it?
Yes. Before that, is it helpful maybe if we ask Georgina King just to say where we are, what's the stage, and kind of just help to prep the public?
Yeah.
Georgina, do you have just some very high level of at this point what we're looking for, and then maybe what happens next with this?
Right. Okay, good evening, everyone. Nice to see you all again after a hiatus that we had there. And we are closing in on finalizing the GSP now. We have had the draft GSP out for 60 days And we have received comments, and tonight we're going to receive more. And all of that we put together into a big spreadsheet, and we're going to respond to those comments. And then over the next month, we're going to be refining those responses and updating the GSP in where there are smaller things. Anything big that requires more board discussion or any policy changes at the October meeting next month, we will be bringing those to you to consider. One of those is actually going to be on land subsidence, and I'm not sure what the others are yet. So those are things that we're going to be talking about in October. And then we have a fairly short turnaround time, and I'm not sure if it might be still we'll be talking about the November meeting when that is, but we're hoping that at the November meeting we can actually present the final GSP, and then you can vote on whether to approve this or not to submit to DWR. So that's kind of the schedule we're looking at. And a lot of it depends on all the comments, how many comments we get. But so far, I think we can meet that schedule. So that's what we're all hoping for, at least. And that's it.
Oh, okay, thank you, Georgina. All right, so now officially, again, we'll open the public comment. Form a line at the back. Come on.
Okay, we have Jesse Maxfield. You should be able to speak now.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Hi, this is Jesse Maxfield with the California Department of Fish and Wildlife. Good to see you guys again. I had more of a question, and I guess I should direct it to Georgina. Within the GSP, there's some talk about using groundwater elevation as a proxy, and there's kind of discussion about how that link still needs to be established and some additional monitoring needs to be done, but that you guys will be using that. I just was wondering if you could kind of clarify that a bit. Is it something that's planned to be assessed in the future as part of the first phase of the implementation of the GSP, or are you asserting that you have the information in order to make that connection at this time? I guess it's more of a question than a comment, but.
Paret, can I answer that?
Oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention.
I'm going to answer that. Is that okay?
I think so. Chair Perry, would you like Georgina to answer now, or kind of hold all of the comments and questions to at the end?
I think go ahead and answer now. I'll have continuity in all our minds, I think.
Okay. So right now, because we only have 2 monitoring wells, shallow monitoring wells near surface water, we can't really make that a link to depletions of surface water flows. So yes, we have to put in these wells next year and hopefully have about 5 years of data. I'm not sure if that's enough. We have to see. Generally, we see the shallow water groundwater levels are very stable. So we'll see over the next 5 years what the climate is like. But I would imagine we have in the GSP that we have to reassess at the 5-year update. Definitely, because that is a big data gap that we only have these 2 monitoring wells, and we can't say too much about it right now.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that clarification.
Okay, thank you, Jesse. Anybody else?
Okay, we have the next public member. We have Rick Rogers. Not to confuse you with our staff member, Rick Rogers. You should be able to speak, Mr. Rogers.
The other Rick Rogers.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yep. Hi, my name is Rick Rogers. I actually work with the National Marine Fisheries Service, and I am their California Coastal Office in-stream flow coordinator. So I have to say that I'm actually right now working on a comment letter, and I hope to get it done by tonight, but it might be a little bit late. But I just wanted to bring up some of my concerns that have come up as I've reviewed the plan. And probably the most important one is the minimum thresholds that are associated with historical groundwater lows, low groundwater elevations. And, you know, we've commented this on many different plans that have proposed similar type minimum thresholds. But just the dynamic between groundwater elevations and stream flow depletions at those historically low groundwater elevations, you're likely having historically high stream flow depletion rates just because of the relationship between depth and depletion. So we have been maintaining that we don't think those are appropriate. They are going to correspond to very high stream flow depletion rates, and obviously that's not good for endangered coho salmon or threatened steelhead. So I'll say that as comment number one. Let me take a look here. We also have a concern about a minimum threshold that also is based upon 2 consecutive years or some kind of multi-year threshold. What we'd like to see, I mean, fish and aquatic organisms die or persist based upon what the conditions are at a moment in time. And so as far as avoiding undesirable results, having a threshold like that doesn't really have an ecological basis to it, and probably doesn't inform appropriately when you are having an undesirable result. And let me see if I've got any more here. I think that's it for right now.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rick. I appreciate that. Okay. Look forward to your letter. All right. Anyone else? There's something coming.
I do not see any hands up at this point from the public.
Okay. Okay. Going once, going twice. So then I'm going to close the public hearing. Okay, so part 2 is receive a report on the written public comment.
We have some audio problems. There's a back noise. So Chris, it might be coming from you. If you could just mute and unmute yourself, see if that fixes it.
It's not me.
It's not you. Okay.
It was in my bag.
Okay. Nobody in your bag?
No, it's here.
Okay. Okay. It's better now.
Okay.
So the written public comments, I think Georgina already mentioned it, that we have received at this point. It's a very manageable total number. They still might be coming in now. We have been using, by and large, or the public has been using the form that is on the website. It's been working great. And we are tracking it. But yeah, there was nothing that I think last time when I spoke with Georgina, any big concerns from the ability to respond to them or anything that is a big red flag that our plan is quite inadequate. So we're not seeing that. So that's a very promising promising news from that. Georgina, anything to add on that from what you've seen?
No, I mean, and we will add whatever we get. Also, some people still could mail, and if it's postmarked today, I guess we would have to accept that. So we would have to wait a couple days to really know what all the comments are. Yeah.
Okay, and then I think Eden has something to add. Brilliant, I'm sure.
Yeah, oh yeah. So what is this manageable number of public comments that we've already received?
We have less than a dozen, and some of them are very, yeah.
And we know that for the entire 60 days, the form that could be filled out to receive those comments was working 100%.
Is that a trick question?
Well,
we don't know for sure. I mean, we only knew when somebody let us know that it didn't work. At the beginning, I think when we opened it, we were notified that the form wasn't working. We troubleshooted and we fixed it.
Okay.
And so to our knowledge, it was working, and people always had an option to call or email us to let us know, or get we have accepted also just emails. It's not we preferred it via website, but we accepted them in any format.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just asking to make sure we've done our part to receive these comments. I mean, we've only gotten 2 tonight, and you know, they're both great comments, but they're both people who work in a profession related to this, so they're not, you know, the layman's public comment. And we've got less than a dozen written ones over 60 days. It just seems lackluster in the, you know, with the amount of time we've put into it. I would think people would be a little bit more excited about it, but maybe chalk it up as a win. So thanks, Brett.
You're welcome. And out of the 12, we have one that is a group of agencies or nonprofits, but the others seem to be just interested individuals, or in the basin or outside. We don't know that yet.
I think JM, you have your hand up.
Yes, thank you. Correct, it's a process question in terms of the agency's responsibility for addressing the questions. Do we have to provide a response to each question or address the feedback in a report in any sort of way? If you could just round us in that, that'd be great.
It's a great question. Georgina and I and the working group, we have kind of talked about what is the best way to ensure that we communicate it back, or the people who have been making comments, that they know the comments have been reviewed and heard and taken into consideration. So at this point, I can't speak to what is the legal requirement. Maybe either Georgina, you, or we have Dave Seppos or Terry, if any of you knows the answer to that. But what we are planning to do is to, well, first post all of them to have a full list of comments that we have received, and then also add a column there that shows how we took the comment into consideration. For example, did it lead into making a change in the plan, or was it something that we thought is not appropriate or relevant for whatever reason? Or if there's conflicting comments, that we can note that too, that there's 2 different parties that said opposite things. Is that, Georgina, what we kind of ended up deciding?
Yeah, there's one other kind of scenario is where we just point out where in the plan that that concern is addressed, because it's a very big plan. It's very hard to find everything that you're looking for in there, unless you read it from cover to cover, which I'm not sure how many people could actually do that. So, so we would point out in what section you could find that information.
Great. Okay. Anything else? Any other board members? Any questions? Sierra?
I just want to add to the question of what the legal requirements are. DWR doesn't require us to respond to each comment individually as we would in a CEQA process. It's just required that we demonstrate that we have read and considered the comments. So we have some latitude in deciding how to do that from the legal perspective, although obviously we want to make sure that we're being respectful of the people who took the time to comment and that we do our due diligence to respond to them in some manner.
Great. Yes, I wholeheartedly agree. Okay. Any other comments? Okay. We're going to check that box. Very good. Done.
And I think we do need, and Terry, maybe you can help me here. What I thought is needed is a board action on closing the public comment period. So I'm kind of, then if that's true, then we're looking from motion and second and a roll call to officially close.
Yeah, Director Cassidy to close the public comment period.
I second that motion.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, got that.
Do a roll call vote.
Yep. Director Ankfer.
Aye.
Koenig.
Aye.
Pollock.
Aye.
Smalley.
Aye.
Perry.
Aye.
Ekwall.
Aye.
Hutchison.
Aye.
Brown.
Aye.
Mayhood.
Aye.
And Cassidy.
Aye, with a stupid question on my own motion. So I assume we're voting yes to close it after we've observed postmarks per Georgina, whatever the stuff trickles in at the end.
Yes, we will accept the postmarks and also Mr. Rogers says that might be coming in after this vote. Yes.
But he got him in on the, on the recording.
Yes.
So he's in.
And he's in. And we do have 10 ayes and 1 absent. So it passes.
Okay, very good. Well
there
done.
is a hand up I see in the public.
Oh.
Director Perry.
Okay, I don't see it, but yes. Public.
Jesse?
Yes, sorry, I just wanted to confirm, is the online form going to remain open for this evening so that comments can be entered in, or are you closing it as of this vote?
Should be closed.
It should be closed.
Yeah, we have closed it. It's closed.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm just from technical standpoint, I don't know that I know how to close it myself. So maybe we'll just, even if it stays open, we can see what time the comments are submitted and we'll exclude the ones that are after 6:05 when it's closed.
Great.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you again, Jesse. And let's go to, I guess we're done with that. Let's go to the staff report, which is our updated Board of Directors meeting schedule. And I think the one we have, the November 17th date, I believe is the date that we are scheduled to vote on accepting the GSP. And I know there's a lot of conflicts on that date. I've heard rumor. If there's, it's one of those meetings that is pretty key to this whole deal. And I know we have other boards that we serve on and have responsibility to, but this is sort of obviously the culmination of this one, or the certainly a benchmark. So if there's any way you could prioritize us over whatever else you've got going on, and hopefully it will be a pretty direct meeting and we'll get it done in a timely fashion. And you could even, I've done this before, you can even go from one meeting right to the other, get a couple of computers set up and Zoom back and forth or Zoom right in. So I would just, it'd be nice if we had a strong quorum rather than just the bare minimum. That's my pitch. And that's for the November 17th meeting.
And the December one, we may or may not need, but we want to have it on everybody's calendar just in case if something comes up as we're going through the comments and if we need more time. But it's, Georgina, I think that's from the GSP standpoint, we might be able to skip that unless the board wants to have some other items to discuss. And we have a Director Mayhood has a.
No, I just simply want to confirm what Chris said and amplify it. Is that I think it's really important that when we have this vote, we have almost all the directors there because it's a very important one. And we've already discussed in our agenda preparation that we will make sure that there's nothing else on the agenda. So I think it's quite likely that this meeting will be 30 minutes or less. So I hope that that will mean that everybody will come and then can go off to the other meetings that they may be obligated to. So we promise not to put anything else on the agenda to make it possible for you all to be there. Thank you.
Gail, that makes it even clearer. Thank you. Doug?
And just to clarify, do we anticipate that the meetings will continue to be held remotely through the end of the year?
There's a lot of uncertainty. We have the new AB 361, and even that is the way we are reading it. We're trying to understand absolutely what we can and cannot do. So at this point, it's hard to tell, to be honest.
Question is,
if there's any flexibility, I'll just let you know that we plan to be out of town then, but I'd be able to participate remotely.
I think what we need to do then, just to be on the safe side, and Terry, please feel free to chime in. In October, we should go on record declaring emergency for the upcoming board meeting in November. So that gives us more flexibility of having at least some board members joining remotely and not having to be here in person. So I'll work with you, Terry, just to make sure that we cover our bases and we have as much flexibility around that.
Okay, great.
I just want to add that at least our legal counsel at the San Lorenzo Valley Water District says that we're pretty much safe through the end of the year with remote meetings. And so I anticipate that that's what we're going to do. And, then we have to, in the meantime, start worrying about how we may have hybrid meetings starting next year. But I think for this November meeting, I don't think there's any question that directors can attend remotely.
Okay. And I'm sure, Terry, you have anything to add or not add? Are you with us?
Yeah, I can see her, but she might not.
Not at this time. Nothing to add at this time, but we will let you know.
Okay, thank you. All right, so down to director's reports, not doing that. Future items.
We had a few listed. Those are still going to happen in the future. And we had one informational item that was included. We thought it's of importance to this group.
Okay. And the events calendar, if anyone's never been to a Aqua conference and your agency is a member, or you want to come as my guest, can I do that?
Well, Santa Margarita is a member of Aqua. Yeah.
I forgot the JPIA connection. So certainly is a worthwhile conference and a lot of great information there. Okay. So I'm going to go to number 10.
So moved.
Got to second that.
It's 6:11, just for the record.
Okay, well, we did it. Thank you very much. And looking forward to seeing everybody on the 17th for another short meeting. I think we should make...
We have October 28th, Chair Perry, first, before we go into November.
Oh, right. And 1 month.
One, yeah.
Okay, well, that'll be a long one. Hopefully not. And so I think we will, of course, look at we're accommodating just off the top of my head, just for the meeting closes, because those comments were made by both of those agencies in the oral form. They're going to be accommodated like any other comment, right? Okay, just want to make sure.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, then I'm going to assume everyone's voting